Hey guys, it's Eric from eDrumcenter. We're here to talk about the Korg MPS-10 multi-pad slash sampler. This came out kind of unexpectedly. What was it, October of 2023? That's when they introduced it.
Yeah.
And then we actually got our first units in December, and here it is February, and it took us a while to get this video out. We wanted to play with it quite a bit, and then NAMM was kind of in there in January, so delayed us a little bit.
And the snowstorm.
And I got sick for a week. But anyway, we're here now. We're here to talk about it. I've actually got one at home. I've had it integrated into my electronic kit, and we have one at the shop too, so I've been playing on it quite a bit, and everybody else is playing on it some to get an idea of what it's like. It's essentially it's not a foreign concept. Other people have, like, the Roland spd-sx Pro is out that's sort of like it. A Yamaha DTX Multi 12, the Alesis Sample Pad Pro or Strike Pad Pro, or
It's both.
yeah, it's more like the newer one that Alesis has out. The thing that kind of sets this one apart, other than the shape is a little bit more left to right than square, is it has a 4-track looper in it, and that's kind of what caught my attention, just for my personal use. And so I'm probably gonna end up keeping that one at home and buying it. It has a ton of sounds built in just across the different genres, lots of percussion, lots of different kind of drum kits, melodic stuff, bass stuff. I haven't come across all the sounds, but it has pretty much anything I could think of. I would like a little more variety of the bass stuff. It has only one bass tone with a bunch of different notes. Maybe they'll add more sounds later, but you can always sample your own. Like, you could plug your bass straight into it and sample that.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you can load samples in, just from any source as well. Assign them to pads. It's got extra pad inputs. I believe it's two extra pad inputs. It's got 2 foot switch inputs. Korg recommends the PS1 foot switch, but it probably works with other foot switches as well. Really good built-in metronome. It's actually made in Japan. I don't think any other sampler pad or multi-pad we still sell, even Roland stuff, is still made in Japan. So
That's the good stuff.
it seems well made. It's got a nice, decently large screen, control area. It's fairly easy to use. I remember when I first sat down at it, I was able to just start playing it and get a loop going without even opening the quick start manual. Now, I did have to get the full manual download to go in and assign different bass tones to a patch. That was a little more in depth, but it wasn't hard to figure out at all.
Yeah, my experience so far is it's been very intuitive.
Yeah. I haven't had to use the manual that much, especially to do what I want to do. Now it doesn't come with a mount, but it mounts to a normal module type mount. We're selling it with the Gibraltar SC-EMMP, which sells for $12 or something like that. And you can mount it onto a clamp, or I've got it at home, and we have one at the shop on a stand. It's the Gibraltar 6713E. Sells for $89 or something, like $99, I think. So that's kind of what it is. Anybody else have any thoughts on your time with it?
Well, I really enjoy it. It might be honestly my favorite sample pad thing like that I've ever played, just because it was so easy. Not that the other ones are hard, but when I first sat down on it, I was like, man, I wonder how I create a loop. I just kind of pressed a couple buttons and did it, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
it was as straightforward as I hoped it would be. And then it already has some cool loops already in it, which a lot of sample pads already have some cool loops in it.
It's got about 100 patches, and I guess I don't know if half, but quite a few of those have built-in loops that just are there. You can you can just start playing with.
Yeah, and I really like. I think one of my favorite like kits or sets on it or whatever was one that was just like a bunch of like rain noises and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I really like this, and I like paired that with like some Asian sounds on the drum kit, and was like just kind of messing around with that. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Made some loops with that.
That's
And
good. That's my biggest takeaway from this unit. Is it's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun to
it's
play
definitely
with.
the most fun I've had with a unit in a while. Like when a certain other module came out or pad came out, I was like, oh, this is cool, but it felt a little too professional for me, not a professional. And this one feels like the simple man's pad. Like you can just sit down, have fun with this, do professional level stuff, but just sit down and play with it. And that's what I want to do when I'm playing with music.
Yeah.
Something that I've always tried to do with these types of devices is I like to, almost kind of create my own play-alongs.
Exactly.
And this one, out of all the ones I've sat down, it was the fastest and easiest to just do that straight out.
Yeah,
Like, it
that's
was-
kind of what I wanted for
Yeah.
practice. And also when I'm jamming with people, we don't always have like a bunch of people. And so I can use it as a bass player, I can use it as a keyboard player. It's got different stuff in it that you can easily loop and play along to. And it just while you're just sitting there, you can just create a loop real quick. Or,
Yeah, I like
or
the-
4 loops.
I like the
four-
idea of 4 loops. That was cool. So
Yeah, I was intimidated at first, and I still haven't had much time with it, but I was still able to, I love odd time signatures and having something I could get creative with, like I play drums too, and I was able to come up with a loop, like in 13/8 or something, that I was just jamming to. That was just a lot of fun.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So,
one big takeaway too for me, just from, when the thing was announced, there was a lot of conjecture people had about certain things with the pad, and one was that it was going to be too easy to hit the screen. And one thing
Right.
we
Oh, yeah.
all 100% agree on, it is not easy to hit this. Like you would have to try to hit the screen.
Absolutely.
It's definitely like at least an inch and a half lower than the rest of the pads.
yeah,
it's
from the
recessed.
pictures, it's hard to tell
Yeah,
that.
it looks kind of flat in the pictures, so I kind of understood where people were coming from. But then when you get it, it's like, oh, you would have to be trying to hit that, or just like not looking at the pad at all and looking and hitting behind your back to like hit it. It's so not easy to hit.
I haven't hit it one time.
Yeah.
I've got hours and hours and hours on it. Had not even gotten close to hitting it. And I got a funny story about this because we had a customer come in. Actually, I think it was a couple days ago, and their 11-year-old sat down on that, and we were talking about like a deal, and she was just playing on it, and I was like, I hope she doesn't hit that screen. And but I was watching, and she didn't hit it one time.
Yeah.
Not even close. Like
Sold.
And she wasn't trying to not to.
Yeah.
I mean, she
I
was,
she's taking drum lessons. I did
Okay.
find that out. So,
Okay.
but still, like, if you've been playing a while and like you can't hit that screen, and you can't not hit that screen,
Mhm.
like, I mean, it's stick control, guys. It's,
but
I don't tell
kind
you.
of in line with that, though, something I like about it, though, compared to some of the other samplers, is that it is a little smaller, though. It's got like a little bit.
Yeah, it's
You
more
know, a little-
compact.
It's not tiny.
It's not tiny by any stretch, but I feel like the form factor will make it a little bit easier to kind of implement it into existing setups. You know what I mean? Because like some of
Yeah.
those, like I used to have an SPD-20, and I don't know if anybody remembers those. Those things are huge, right? And anytime I
It's-
tried to
yeah.
incorporate that into anything, it basically, I mean, it took up a huge chunk of space. But the Korg, it seems like it's gonna.
It's a little more compact than
Yeah.
the 20 and the 30. I think it's a little more compact top to bottom than the spd-sx Pro.
It is.
It's
not
for
quite as-
sure smaller than the Strike Pad Pro,
Yeah,
the Leasis, which is quite large.
I mean, I feel like it's like a third smaller than the Roland. Like it's considerably shorter. Like it's.
Yeah, top to bottom.
Yeah, but it's
And-
it's.
If I was the engineer and if they were to ask me, I probably would have told them not to put those pads on the either side of the screen.
Mhm.
Let's be fair, but so far it hasn't been an issue.
No.
And I think it's not a reason not to buy the product. That's,
Yeah,
that's
not
my
absolutely.
point. It's
Not at all.
pretty cool and it's worth a look for sure if you're looking for something that does this. And nothing else does 4-track looping like this.
Right.
Like as far as I'm aware, you can create a loop on a pad on other pads manually and play it, but you can't just quickly using the internal sounds make a loop on the fly like this.
Right.
or much less 4. So that's just a really powerful feature, and I think somebody's really more creative than me can is probably gonna have a ton of fun with that.
I remember the first day Tony was playing on it, I hooked up to the speaker. It was just 5 minutes later, you just had that clown loop thing
Yeah.
going playing to it. It sounded awesome. I was like, oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And it was it was like, what's the first sound? Okay, sure. Well, let's just see what we can do with
let's
this.
try it out.
Yeah, and
I made a cool one the other day, just kind of accidentally awesome
Mhm.
that I let you listen to.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's pretty cool.
I like that. Accidentally awesome.
Yeah.
I think that comes into play a lot with this thing, because I think it's easy to come up with things that are accidentally awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's let's get into the pricing. It's $9.99 right now, US. We actually have some in stock. We just got some in last week. We got some in initially, but those sold out really quickly. And then this is our second shipment. Literally just came in middle of February. So they're available now. If you guys want to grab one, try it out. We do financing. We do trades. If you want to trade in your, something on this to help ease the pain a little bit, we can do that. And I guess basically our conclusion on this is it's probably a buy, especially if you're looking for something like this. It's becoming more of a crowded. It used to be just there was the Roland, and then the Alesis came out, and then the Yamaha DTX Multi 12 is it's kind of old now. It probably could use an update. But it's a lot less expensive than it was new.
Mhm.
There's this one, and then there's the new X that's coming in soon.
Oh, yeah.
But and we're gonna do a video on that one too. But yeah, this is definitely a buy for me. Like I said, I'm probably gonna keep the one at home and buy it. And that's pretty much it for this one. If you guys have any questions, you can download the full manual online. Because we have one in the shop and I have one at home, we're gonna know this one pretty well. It's really easy to use. Thanks for watching and listening. Like the video, subscribe to our channel for more. We're gonna come out with a ton of videos this year. Follow us on our socials, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
See ya.